Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to discuss about developing a CRUD application using PHP, MySQL database and Bootstrap framework. So this is our complete application, and exactly the same application we'll be going to discuss in this video. So before starting this video, I just want to tell you guys that if you guys like this video, click on like button, share it with your friends, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and if you guys have any questions, then let me know in the comment section. Now let us start our today's video. Okay, so let's first see this complete CRUD application. Okay, so as you can see here, I have created a navigation menu with a title as PHP CRUD tutorial, and there is a create user button or a link. So when I click on this create user link, a separate form gets opened with these many text boxes, and from here if I want to go back, then I just need to click on this go back link. Okay, suppose I want to insert a record, then I just click create user, then I will enter these details. Now you can see I have entered all the details, and when I click on this create user button, you can see a record saved successfully message started displaying. That means that record gets saved inside the MySQL table. Now if I click on go back, then you can see the same record started displaying in the form of a table. So now this is the create feature of our CRUD tutorial. Now we will see the read or view feature of our CRUD tutorial. So if I want to individually view the details of each and every record, then I just need to click on this view link, then that particular record started displaying in different page. Now we will see the update feature. Okay, suppose I want to make any changes in any of the record, then what I will do, I will just click on the update link, then that record gets started displaying in different page. Then suppose I want to make it to D'Souza. Okay, and I will click on this update user, then immediately I will be redirected to index page, where you can see this is our record, David D'Souza. Earlierly it was David Fernandez. So this is the update feature of CRUD tutorial. Now we will see the last one, which is the delete feature. Okay, suppose if I want to delete this record Meghna Malhotra, then I will just click on this delete, then that particular record gets deleted from the table as well as from the database. Okay, so each and every of this record is getting fetched from MySQL table. So this application is completely dynamic. Okay, so in this complete video we will be going to learn a lot of things, like how to design this attractive and interactive page using Bootstrap framework, and how to establish a connection with the MySQL database, then how to insert a record inside MySQL table. Then we will also see how to view all the records or fetch all the records from the MySQL table and display those records in the form of this attractive table. And then we will also see how to view a specific record, details of specific record. Then we will see how to update specific record and delete any specific record. Okay, so each and every of this feature is very important whenever you will be working on some large projects. If you learn these create, read, update and delete features with the help of this simple video, then it will be going to help a lot in your future whenever you will be working on big projects. Okay, so let us start our discussion on developing a PHP CRUD tutorial. Okay, so now let us first go to our database, and I have a table TBL users created under the PHP CRUD. I will click on this table, then you will see I have inserted these many records. Now let us see the structure of the table. Okay, I have created 5 fields. First is ID, and this ID field I have set as a primary key. Then I have created another field, username will be of type varchar, gender will be of type varchar, email varchar, mobile varchar. Okay, so I have created a table with the name TBL users with 5 fields. Okay, so exactly the same way you need to create a table with the same name. Okay, next you need to go to your htdocs folder, and here under the XAMPP folder then you will get an htdocs folder, and inside your htdocs folder you need to create a folder with the name CRUD app. Okay, now I'm in my CRUD app. So under this folder I have created few other folders like assets and inc. Under the assets folder I have created css and js, and then found awesome folder. CSS folder will hold bootstrap CSS file, and then JS folder hold bootstrap JS and jQuery 3.1.0.min.js file. And I have also included font awesome folder, okay, which will have further other folders as well. So I will put the link in the description from where you can easily download each and every of these files. So now let us move to our editor to start writing down the code. Okay, so here you can see I have opened my Sublime editor and I have already imported the project. Okay, so to import your project you just need to go to your file and then click on open folder, and then you need to go to your C drive, and then you need to select htdocs folder. You need to go to your C drive, and then you need to go to your XAMPP, then htdocs folder, and here I have created a folder with the name CRUD PHP. Yes, CRUD app. Okay, so you just need to select this, you need to click on select folder, then that entire project started displaying in your editor. So I have already created the entire directory structure so that I can complete this video as soon as possible. And apart from this assets folder, I have already created an inc folder. Okay, this inc folder contains two files. First one is header, another one is footer. Okay, so we will see what code you need to write under header and footer files. Okay, so let us first write the PHP code to connect our CRUD app application with the MySQL database which we have created here. Okay, so this is our PHP CRUD database. Okay, so you need to open this db.php file, and here you can see I have written down few configuration details. Okay, so this server name will hold the details of our local server, which is 127.0.0.1, and then user name will be set as root, and I have not set any password to my database, so I am just leaving it as blank. And I have created the database with the name PHP CRUD, which I have just shown you. You just need to mention the name of the database. Once you write these configuration details, then you need to use MySQLi connect function, and you need to pass these details to this function. Okay, then you need to create a connection variable, and after assigning this connection details to this connection variable, then you need to check if your connection didn't get established successfully, then you will be displaying a message as connection failed using this MySQLi connect error function. Okay, so if your connection successfully gets established with the MySQL database, then it will allow you to interact with the database. Okay, so this much of code you need to write to connect your script with the MySQL database. Okay, so now let's move ahead to our inc folder. Okay, as I have told you earlier that I have created two files, header and footer. Okay, so now let me just go to header.php file. Inside the header PHP file, I'm going to design this header. Okay, I will going to put only the code related to this header or navigation menu. Let's come here. Now first I need to include my HTML tags. Okay, and then I need to create the title PHP CRUD tutorial, and then first I need to link all the CSS and JS files which I have shown you here inside the assets folder. CSS and JS files are there. I need to link this CSS and JS files with my project. Then you need to create a navigation menu. Okay, next I have created a div with a class of container fluid, and then I have created a link with a class of neobar brand href index.php, and then few inline CSS styling, and I have given a title to my navigation menu as PHP CRUD tutorial. Okay, let's save it and let's refresh our application. Okay, so this is our application. You can redirect to your currently working application using the local host address, which is 127.0.0.1/crud app. Now I refresh the page, then you can see a navigation menu started displaying, okay, with the title PHP CRUD tutorial. Okay, next I will go to footer. Okay, so footer contains only these two tags, okay, closing body tag and closing HTML tag. And here once we are done with establishing the connection with the MySQL database and then setting up the header and footer, then I will move to index.php file. Okay, so here I have created an index.php file, and first what you need to do is you need to include your header and footer in your index.php file. Not only the index.php file, in each and every of your file you need to include header and footer. Okay, next I have created a div with a class of container. Then here in the index page I need to display add user or create user button at the top. That's why here I have created an anchor tag which is referring to create PHP file, which has the class as btn primary, and I have given a font awesome icon here. Okay, and this is the label. Okay, this icon is of user icon, user plus icon. Okay, so now let's just refresh. You can see add user button started displaying. So when I click on this link, I will be redirected to create PHP file. Okay, so next I have created a form with a class of form horizontal and action index.php and method as post. Okay, that means with this form I'm going to make a post request to the same file index php. Okay, then I have created a div with a class of table responsive, and then I have created a table with a table head, and under the table head I have created a table row, and the table row contains 6 columns. First column is ID, second is name, then gender, email, mobile, and action. Okay, once I create the table row, then I need to create the table body. Here I have created that. Under the table body I want to display all the records which user will going to enter, okay, or the details of all the users. Okay, so next save it. Okay, now let me just first refresh. Okay, so now you can see below this add user button a table started displaying. Inside this table I want to display the details of all the users. Okay, so to display all the users, first I need to include my database configuration file, this file, in my index.php file. So that's what I have done here. I have included the database configuration file here at the top, and then I have created an SQL query which will select all the data from the users table. Then I have executed this SQL query using this MySQL query function by passing the connection, which is my database connection. Okay, then if this query successfully gets executed, then it will check if the table contains certain records or not using this MySQL numRows function by passing the result. Okay, if my database table contains records, means greater than 0 records if found inside the table, then I will iterate. I need to iterate over each and every record using the while loop. Okay, and I have used MySQL fetch assoc function, and I have passed the result to this function. Okay, so this while will iterate each and every record and return. Okay, then I will get each and every field data and assign that data to these variables: ID, username, gender, email, and mobile. Then here after inside this while I need to print these data in the form of a table. So to print the data in the form of a table, I must use the tr tag. Inside the table row tag I have used table header and table data tags to display the ID, username, gender, email, and mobile. Okay, let's save it. Let's refresh. Now you can see all the records started displaying in the table. Okay, so now I need to further display a few options like view, update and delete. Okay, so to create those options, you need to come again inside the tr tag, then you need to create a td tag, and inside this td you need to create those links. Okay, first link here I'm creating to display view option. Next, the same thing I need to do for update, okay, and for delete as well. Okay, let's save it and refresh. Now you can see three buttons or links started displaying. Okay, so here this each and every link gets attached with the id of that record, and that id is this id, okay, which I have fetched from the MySQL table. If I found certain records in my MySQL table, then this if condition will get executed. Okay, so this if gets started here and ends here. Okay, what if the table does not contain any record? Then in that case I need to display no record found message here in the table. Okay, so to display that message you need to come to the else section, and you need to again use a tr tag to display the message no record found. Okay, and here body gets closed, table gets closed, this div gets closed which I have created here, and then form gets closed, and then this first div gets closed. Okay, save it. Okay, so this is everything about index. So now we have completed index page. Now we need to move ahead to complete the add user feature. Okay, so whenever I click on the add user link, another page gets opened with various text boxes from where I can enter the details of name, gender, email and mobile. Okay, so now let's do that. So for that I need to go to our create PHP file, and here also you need to include your header and footer files. Okay, now first what I will do, I will create a container. Okay, and then I will create a link. Okay, in my index.php file I had created the same link, but this link was to add the user, whereas in create.php this link is to go back to index.php file. Save it, and I will click on this add user link, and you can see now I have redirected to create PHP file where I have go back link. So if I click on this, I will be redirected back to index.php file. Next is the label create user header. Okay, and here also I have created a form with method post and action as create PHP file. So next here I have created few rows because I want to display various text boxes for name, email, gender, mobile number. Okay, so each and every of those text boxes I'm going to create inside these rows. In the first row I have created a div with a class of form group, and then this form group I have further divided into two divs of 6 columns each. Okay, in the first 6 column I will create a label as username, and I have created an input box of type text with a class of form control and name as username. Okay, save it, and I will click on this, and you can see the header and the first text box started displaying. Okay, next we need to move to the second row. In this row again I need to create a div with a class of form group, and again I need to divide this div in two sections of 6 columns each. Okay, and in the first 6 column I need to create a label gender and a select drop down with a name as gender with a set of options like male and female. Okay, save it, and you will see gender drop down started displaying. And similarly I need to do to the third row, form group, then two divs of 6 columns each, and a label for email and a text box of type email and name as email. Okay, save it, refresh. Okay, email text box started displaying. Next, in the fourth row, again I need to create a form group and two 6 columns div and a label of mobile and an input text box to enter the value of mobile. Okay, and similarly I need to do for the fifth row. Okay, form group and then one div with a class of 6 column. Inside this 6 column div I need to check an if condition. Okay, so here with this file I'm trying to create a user. Okay, so if the user successfully gets registered, then I need to display a message to the user saying that records get successfully added inside the table. So to display that message I need to write this if condition. Okay, so what this if condition means is, if your post request is successfully been made, then this message variable will get printed out. This message variable will hold the message as record saved successfully. Okay, next I need to come to the last row, where again I have created a form group to display the submit button with the name of submit. Okay, save it and let's refresh. Now you can see the entire form gets created to add the user. Okay, now the thing which is left is to write the PHP code. Okay, so whenever user click on this create user link after entering all the details, then a request will get sent to the same file to insert the data inside the MySQL table. Okay, so that PHP code we need to write down here at the top. Okay, so here initially I have included the database configuration file, and then I am checking if the post request is successfully been made to the same file. Okay, so here I'm using the same name. Okay, submit, here name is also submit. Okay, okay, so if the post request has been successfully made, then I need to collect all the details like username, gender, email, mobile. Okay, once I collect all those details inside these variables, then I am checking for the emptiness. Okay, what if the user tries to click on this create user button without entering any details? Okay, in that case I need to check, I need to display proper message that you have not entered details in so and so text box. So for that I have made a validation here. Okay, so if username is not equals to empty and gender is not equals to empty and email is not equals to empty and mobile, okay, if all these four text boxes are completely been filled by the user, then I will execute this insert SQL query, which will insert these details inside the TBL users. Okay, then immediately after that I'm executing this SQL query. If this query successfully gets executed, then I will display a message as record saved successfully, otherwise I will display failed to save the record. So what if user has missed one of the text box to enter the data? Then in that case I need to display please fill all the fields message. Okay, so this is the exact message which I'm printing out here. I hope you guys have understood. Okay, so this is everything about creating or adding a user inside the MySQL table. Now let's refresh the page. Okay, now what I will do is I will insert one record. Now I have entered the details of a user, and when I click on this create user link, now you can see a message record set successfully started displaying, and when I click on go back to see the details of that newly inserted user, I can easily see that information inside the table under index.php file. Okay, so now we have successfully developed the create feature. Now we need to go further ahead to discuss read feature. Okay, how I can view the details of each and every record. Okay, so to do that I have already created a read PHP file, and I have already included header and footer files. Then I have included a container, and here as you can see I have created a div with a class of table responsive and another table with a class of table hover. Okay, so I am creating a table to display the details of specific record. To view the details of a specific record, I need to get access to the ID of each and every record. As I have told you earlier also that each and every record is having its own ID. Okay, with the help of that ID I need to get the details of each and every record. So that ID I need to pass to the view PHP file the moment when I click on this view link. Okay, so now let me just take you to the index PHP file. Okay, so this is my index PHP file. I had earlierly also shown you that here these are my view, update and delete links. Okay, so I have linked the ID of each and every record to the view link, update link and delete link. Okay, so whenever I click on this view or update or delete, the ID which I have linked to each and every anchor tag, that ID I need to access using the get method, and I need to bring that ID here inside the read PHP file. Okay, so how we can do that, how we can get access to the ID which is linked to each and every record in our read.php file. Okay, so let me just show you that as well. So here you can see after creating the table I have created a table row. Okay, and then email, and then finally mobile. Okay, so as you can see here I have created a table and 4 rows. In first row I am displaying the username, label and then username. Okay, and then in the second row I am displaying the gender, label and then gender. In the third row I am displaying email, and then in the fourth row I am displaying the mobile. Let's save it and refresh, and if I click on this view link you can see it will start displaying me few errors like undefined variable, username, gender, email and mobile. Okay, because here I have directly printed out those variables but I have not fetched out the data stored inside these variables from the database. Okay, now I will be writing down the code to fetch the data of username, gender, email and mobile based on the ID passed from here the moment when the user click on this view link. Okay, so here that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so here I have created a link to go back to the index PHP file along with the header, save it. Okay, if I click on this view then you can see the go back link and then this header started displaying. And now here I have used $_get method and I have passed the ID. Okay, so this will allow me to access the ID of each and every record, Okay, if I click on this first view link then the first ID1 gets passed and that ID will come here and get stored inside this ID variable. Okay, so like this it works. Then here I am including the database configuration file, and then here I have written an SQL query which will select the data from users table based on the ID. Okay, and then I'm executing that query. If the query successfully gets executed then I need to one by one iterate over each and every field of that record. Then here I'm collecting the information inside the ID, username, gender, email and mobile variables. Okay, and these information I'm printing out here, username, gender, email and mobile. Okay, so now you will not see any error if I click on this view link. Okay, as you can see here the details are displaying properly. Okay, so this is how you can develop the feature of read. Okay, so far we have completed the create and read feature of our CRUD application. Now we are left with the update and delete feature. Okay, so let's move ahead to complete those two features as well. So first I need to go to my update PHP file. So inside the update PHP file also you need to include the header and footer files. Then you need to create a div with a class of container, and then I have used a $_get to access the ID of the record whose information I need to update. So now here this is my completely built application. Okay, suppose I want to update the details of this record, then I will click on this link. Okay, so each and every of this link gets attached with the ID. So when I click on this link, the ID attached with this link gets sent to update PHP file, and that ID gets received here. Okay, and then I'm passing that ID to this ID variable. Okay, see here, next what I'm doing is, since now I have got the ID of this record, now I will pass this ID to this SQL query so that I can get the details of this individual record. Okay, so I will, okay, now I have information of the ID inside this ID variable, and I'm passing that ID to this SQL query, which will select the entire data. Okay, then I'm executing the query using the MySQL query function using the connection. Okay, if this query successfully gets executed, then I will get the information of each and every field, and I will store that information under ID, username, gender, email, and mobile variables. Okay, next is I need to create a form, and inside that form I need to take an input field, so that whenever I will be clicking on the update user button, I can send the ID information as an hidden field. Okay, here next I have created few rows. Okay, so as you can see here, this hidden field ID is been set with this ID. Okay, next in the first row I have created a form group which will have two 6 columns divs, and I have created an input type text to display the information of username. Okay, and I have set the value attribute to the username information. Okay, so now you can see here, this username variable will hold the details of the username, and I'm passing this information inside this text box using this value attribute. Now save it. Now let me just show you that this is my application, and now when I refresh, you can see the text box with the value gets filled out inside the text box. Okay, next I have created another div to display the gender. Okay, drop down, and under that gender drop down I'm displaying the gender using the value attribute. Okay, because I have gender information here, I am just passing this gender information here. Okay, save it, refresh. Okay, gender information started displaying here. Next, similarly I need to do for the email, and here also I have set the value attribute to email. And then next you need to do the same thing for mobile as well, and I'm setting the value attribute to mobile. Let's refresh. Okay, now next is here also for updating you need to display an appropriate message whenever an updation successfully gets performed. Okay, so whenever user updates any record, I will be displaying a message like a record saved, record updated successfully. To display that message I'm using this if method. Okay, next is the update button. Okay, an input of type submit with a name of update user and value as update user. Okay, let's refresh, and at the end I want to display a link here at the top, which will allow me to go back to the index page. Okay, so that's what I have done here, and a header title update user details. Let's refresh. Okay, now I need to start working on the update feature. Okay, so let me just first go back to the index page. So now if I click on this third record, the details of the third record started displaying inside the text box, and when I click on this update user link after making few changes, then a request should be made to the update PHP file to update the data. Okay, so I need to write the PHP code here at the top. Okay, so I have included the database configuration file, and then I am checking if the update post request is successfully been made. Then I need to collect the information from the text boxes and drop downs. Then again I need to check for the emptiness. If all the data gets filled out inside the text boxes and drop downs, then I need to execute this update SQL query, okay, based on the ID. Okay, if the query successfully gets executed, then I need to redirect the user back to the index page. Otherwise I will display fail to update record message. Okay, if the user is trying to update the record without filling all the details, then in that case I will display a message, please fill all the details. Okay, now save it and let's refresh the page. Okay, now I will change the surname Pooja Malhotra. Okay, and I will just keep rest of the information as it is, and I will click on update user. Now you can see the record Pooja, whose surname was earlier something else, now gets changed to Malhotra. Okay, so that means we have successfully completed the feature of update. Now we are left with the feature of delete. Okay, so let's complete that feature as well. So I have created a delete PHP file, and here also I need to include the database configuration file and this $_get to access the ID of each and every record. Okay, so if I click on this delete link, first delete link, then the ID of this record needs to be fetched out and passed to this $_get and assigned to this user ID variable. Okay, next I need to use this user ID variable to pass to a delete SQL query, and based on this user ID I'm deleting the data from the MySQL table. Okay, then I'm executing this SQL query, and if this query successfully gets executed, then I will be redirecting the user back to the index.php file. Okay, let's refresh this, and now if I want to delete this 6th record, then I will just click on this delete, and then that 6th record gets deleted. And if I click on this delete link of 3rd row, then that record also gets deleted. Okay, so this is how we can develop the simple PHP CRUD application. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood how we can develop this simple PHP CRUD application. So if you guys have any doubts and queries, then please let me know in the comment section. Okay, so that's all for this video, guys. If you guys like this video, click on like button, share it with your friends, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and if you guys have any questions, then let me know in the comment section. Okay, and thanks for watching.